thank you for coming here. Thank you for being curious about communities in general and about ecovillages and being here to the Gen, this beautiful network. It's my first Gen actually, and I'm really loving. Um, Really, I'm feeling fed by all this common purpose, shared purpose that I'm seeing in everyone's eyes, dreams, discussion. It's very nurturing. And I hope we can feed a little bit of your dream through what we're going to present today. Vincent and me, Vincent, and me are going to present how the Le Passage model is actually allowing to align the dream with matter. How can we really translate our dreams as a community into the matter of what we are doing on Earth, inland, and in all the structure that we are creating out of this dream. Les Passages is a non-profit association, and it's not only Vincent and me. Obviously, there is a founder that I will at some point talk to you a little bit about him, and also amazing people that joined us in this association, organization, which are Noga here, Gregory, and some other people that are in France or somewhere else. And they're going to be available for you also after the workshop if you have questions, if you want to connect, if you want to know more. And we will also have the possibility to get your email address afterwards if you want to receive this presentation and a bit more information. Yeah. But start, we would like to know a little bit more about you. What drove you here? And who are you? And yeah, I have a few questions for you. Okay, up. My questions. So first of all, in this crowd here, and I'm curious to know who already lives in an eco-village. Okay.
35%.
Then who is actively looking to join an eco-village? Wow. Okay.
35%.
Who actually wants to build an eco-village? Ooh, okay.
Congratulations.
Amazing. Yes. And who finds eco-villages amazing, but maybe does not want to live in an eco-village? Okay. Welcome. We're going to check afterwards if it's still the case. And then who tends to avoid legal and financial topics because, wow, it's complicated, it's boring, it's impossible. Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome to you guys. Also, we're going to check the end. Okay. And who also experience conflicts related to power dynamics within, I would open to more, any community, in any organization, power dynamics. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go through all those topics, and we're gonna divide this workshop together. Oh, I also wanted to tell you that we chose to make a 2 hours workshop because we think that the first 45 minutes, 1 hour would be hello, welcome. I was informed that you would arrive maybe late, so welcome, no stress. Yes, 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 yes. Take your seat, breathe in and out. Yeah, so around 45 minutes of going into the model, understanding what are those mechanisms that you heard about maybe those last days. And then we want to give space to your questions, your burning questions, for the ones that live in eco-villages, the ones that want to build an eco-village, people that will finally love legal stuff, like to bring your questions. So we want to give really good space to this because we know, because we experienced it, when we get to know the Le Passage model, it's just 10 times more questions after getting in touch with it. So we want to give space to this, and Vincent will be mainly the one responding to your answers. So I'm Sandra. I am the president of Le Passage Association, and we come from Portugal. Vincent and me are partners also in life. We have 2 kids together. and and yeah, we live in Portugal, but we are French, as you can maybe hear. And we are part of a project. We are community builders. We are building a project that is called Colmeia 62, Colmeia 62, in Portugal for the last 4 years. And we are probably we will soon be able to build because our land is empty next year. So soon maybe we will become full members of the GEN. We are already in touch with the GEN network and really want to be part of this beautiful network.
Yeah, and Le Passage is partner of the GEN, the association.
Yes, the association is partner of the GEN, supporting some of the projects, and we support either new projects to start or also existing communities facing some challenges as legal, financial stuff, especially when people come in and out of the project. This is where usually the problems appear. And we support those communities to shift to these mechanisms. So we have those 2 angles. You want to add something? Okay, so let's move on.
I forgot I was in charge of this.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is mainly people and money. The 2 main reasons why communities are thriving or collapsing. So with the mechanisms, we hope that we can just give more chances to communities to actually thrive. So a little bit of our story. In 2018, we decided to change life. We leave the corporate world. Let's go to Portugal. Okay, we went to Portugal, and 2 years after navigating, what are we going to do here? We found this beautiful land, which didn't end up being the land that we bought with our community, because, it's... But we visited this land in 2020, and then I had a clear vision, like, if we want to do a project like this, we have to be a group of people. We have to find people to be with us. And I wrote these very dense letters. I found it in my emails. And we just sent it out of all the people we knew around us in Lisbon, in Portugal, saying, like, do you know anyone that would be crazy enough to start a project with us? And what happened a few weeks later, we ended up having our first vision workshop with a group of people. Around 15 people. We were so happy, full of hope, full of a dream. And then, from this group, today, 4 years later, we are only 5 members from these 15 people that are still in the project. But we are still 13 people. So it's flow of life, going, living, passing some time, contributing. And this is what we're going to talk about today. So what's an eco-village? I really love this definition that I found in a book about communities. It's a group of people who have chosen to live together with a common purpose, working cooperatively to create a lifestyle that reflects their shared core values. Until where are we able to share our core values? Maybe we gather together, we agree, we dream, but then is it really in the core of what we are doing? Is it really written in the stone? Or are we just talking about it, but when suddenly we have conflict, we are like, money, power dynamics, and all those things, and how the system, the foundations can really support us in those moments when we lose our connection. So, okay, no more words in this slide, okay. So, few images here. I like to see the legal thing as a marriage contract. Yeah, thank you. The legal part is like a marriage contract. When we are in love, everything is perfect. Oh, no, let's not talk about papers. But when we go to divorce, we start to read under the lines to make sure that we can get the most we can out of the situation. So basically what we do is how to prepare a clean marriage contract within the community and within the eco-village. I like the image of building an eco-village together is getting married and starting a business together at the same time. So this level of challenge. Finances, how can you have finances that are healthy, that can go through storms, resilience, COVID, all those things that we need to get used to in our world? How can we have a healthy and balanced finances? Governance. How can we make sure that there is a direction of the boat, that we all know where we are going, that we align, and that we know how to divide the tasks, where to go, what to do to make the boat go to our final destination. And then the human part. I really love this image. When we come together, we are like little rocks with our edges, our sharpness, our capacity, our limitations. And how can we slowly smoothen and become those beautiful pebbles, just like creating this beautiful, beautiful floor by actually softening the edges and slowly becoming more able to live together. Welcome. Yes. What do I do? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay, I need to find a solution. Um, Hello, welcome. I'm gonna try to find a solution. Okay, like this.
Just 1 minute. Is everybody comfortable or not? Can we put 1 or 2 mattresses more so that because there are still few people arriving?
Yeah. Thank you, Gregory. What?
Just take 1 or 2 mattresses. Sorry.
Ouais. Okay. I want to take a moment to give credit to all this work that we're going to present today. Jean-Michel Ezard, that we call Mika in general, is the founder of this model, and his background is legal studies, and then he was managing some real estate companies during years, a lot of financing, a lot of business plans of real estate projects. And one day he made a major shift in his life. He decided to be a sustainable builder. He built a company, and in his pathway, he founded the first eco-village. It was a bunch of people in the south of France, and they were really motivated to build from scratch a whole 3 big buildings. And when they were going through the financing and how can we make it, he was surprised to see that there was no alignment between what they wanted and the reality of their financing and how it was structured. So with his background, he decided to support them. So they started to do all those meetings to try to disentangle and see how it could be more aligned. And that's how the first version of the Les Passages model appeared. And then it was more than 10 years ago. And then with his motivation and experience, he started to meet other eco-villages in France in his on his pathway, and he started to support them more and more. And in 2021, 2020, he decided to create Les Passages. So it's actually kind of the same time that we were finding our land, and then we found Les Passages, and we were together, and we started to work with him because we really believe in his model, and we managed to transfer it in Portugal. And then we were like, okay, so if it's scalable in another country, then we can make it everywhere, because you will see all the principles are quite international. One of his favorite quotes is, "We are doing systemic Aikido." What is systemic Aikido? Basically, we use the strength of our world, the capitalistic world, But instead of orienting it to the profit of few people, we bring it back to support communities. So how can we use the strength, not fighting it, but using it and turn it in another way? This is like more or less what we're going to do. So big thank you to him. And also really grateful that he really gave us this model just to spread it around because he doesn't speak English. And he said, for me, France is enough. And guys, I just trust you to bring you wherever it can live. So really grateful for that. So there are 8 core values in the model that we're going to illustrate in different ways. I think this one also I need you to, yeah, because it's cut, yeah. So the 8 core values of the Le Passage mechanisms are, first of all, human is more important than money. Yay! All right, do you agree? Okay, thank you. No matter what, no matter if you come with 1 million euro or 0 euros, one person equal one voice. This is the core base of the model. Second thing, no speculation. Okay, through those mechanisms, 1 euro equal 1 euro. We don't want to incentive that people are incentive to invest in a project so that they can benefit from the collective work and then go out with like, I made a good bunch of money out of this project. No, it's the collective work they did. You didn't. You just brought money, and we are very grateful. But when you go out with your money, and we are still very grateful. Then being able to get your money back. This is super important. How do we build trust that you can put more because no matter what, you will get it back. So you can actually risk it because you know you can get it back. And our experience is that with times, because so many beautiful projects happen, a lot of people actually leave the money afterwards as a donation. But we want them to be sure on the journey that they can get it back if it's not for them. Having balance between individuals and the collective needs, I will go a little bit deeper on one of those principles, is like how the sum of the individuals can actually support the collective and how the collective can support the individuals. And this is a balance we try to find within the mechanisms. Another important thing is no individual property. This is a major step for a lot of people. How many of you are the owners of your own apartment or flat? It's okay. No, it's okay. Just no judgment. It's just
Or are living in a place that is owned by someone.
or owned by someone. Yeah, not by you, but owned by someone
that is
else.
not a common good,
Yes,
that is
thank
not
you.
owning itself,
Yes.
like a foundation or...
So in our project, it's the collective that is the owner. And when you leave, you don't leave with a part of it. You just leave with your money that you contributed, but the property remains the collective property. And people have a right of use of a private space. So it's a right of use. It's really a shift in our society. Like, I can trust that I can live somewhere without owning it or without paying for being there. Paying someone else, I mean. So then new members are chosen collectively. Super important. If I'm the owner of part of this place, when I leave, I just want to sell to the person that will give me more money for it. And if Michael has a lot of financial possibilities, but actually doesn't believe in the values of the project, I cannot impose Michael to be the next one living here. So the group of the people are the ones choosing the occupants with their own criteria. If I leave, I just take my money. And then the shared governance, like how can we have a shared governance? And this, I think, is the most common thing that we have in ecovillages, sociocracy principle. And yeah, I will not go into details in this presentation, but basically we advise to have consent decision making with veto. This is our what we recommend. And then long-term sustainability. I will explain this. This is fascinating. Because the financial system allows projects to last longing. Oh, how do we say that? To last long, thank you. Even beyond the initiators. So we are creating a common good, that no matter what happens with the founders, new people will coming in, and then the project can last, and at some point, people can come without money. So this is the beauty of the system, but I will explain this. Ah, yeah, then you need to... Yes? Yes, can we switch to cozy mode? Ah. It's more cozy for you guys, yeah. Thank you, André, for your flexibility.
Thank you. We love you.
Okay.
Yeah, so just on these 8 core values, the idea is we identify this as being main values of Ecovillage project. So you'll find this, I think, in most Gen projects. But how far can we make it legal? How far can we put it core in the legal structure of the project?
Ah, yes. You mean here? Yeah, but I think... No, it's a problem of...
Yeah, we have a
which
problem
right?
with this. So it's like we have a screen, but the image is out of the screen.
Yes.
And we don't manage to get the image back on the screen.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going in and out. It doesn't change.
Yes.
I can do it
Par
if
contre,
you want.
non. Par contre, est-ce que tu peux... Can you just...
The only thing I can do is going
Exactly.
out of the presentation mode,
like
so you
this.
can see the whole slide.
When it's needed, we're going to do this. Okay?
We had half an hour with all Backer technicians working on this, and this is the best we can get.
Okay. Thank you, Baka. So basically, what's the outcome of what we bring? The mechanisms will allow each group to actually work proactively with our support into creating their own bylaws with those principles. Like, how do we bring the 8 values in the documents? So 4 main documents plus 2 additional ones. The first one is the cooperative bylaws. The bylaws, this is the ID card of the structure. How do you show yourself to the world as a community? We are a cooperative. It's the project foundations. It's really defining all the basic things of no speculation possible, collective property, all this part. Then the internal regulation, it's more the inner version of the bylaws where we actually express the processes of how do we work operationally. And we like to talk about flexible application. When I have a wedding contract, I don't need every day to read the lines to be able to function with my partner. It's the same. We don't need to refer to it all the time. And we usually recommend not to put a list of like, you can do this, you don't do that, because it would change all the time and it's not really bringing this flexibility. What we recommend, it's more like to clarify what are the processes in case we disagree. So basically, what do we do? What do we agree to do when we disagree? Having good agreements about it. You see what I mean? Okay. And then, it's together with the integration process. How do we integrate new members? What are our criteria? The third document is the associate current account contribution agreement. So this, I will go a little bit more in this because this is very Le Passage specificity. We don't work so much with putting money in shares. We use the associate current account as a way to regulate financial contributions, contribution withdrawals, and build trust with this system. It's one contract per associate. That means when we have couples, each person has their own contract. It's per person. The cooperative contract is the last document. It's how do we regulate access to the right of use of a private space. So this contract explains how is the calculation of the rent, because there is a rent, and we're gonna explain exactly how it works. And it's a low rent low rent that is explained, that is related to the fact of being a cooperator of the cooperative, so we can have this right of use and have access to a private space. So it's by law. When you are in a cooperative, because you cooperate, then you have some advantages as a member. So your advantage is actually that you can live in a private space. So it's not a tenant contract. It's very different. Then we can avoid the tenant regulations because we are within a system of cooperative. So it's a right of use. And then the occupation rules is the place where you can write the do's and don'ts. It's less official. It's more like to define what is feasible, not feasible, cats, dogs, yes, no, all those kind of things.
It's where you put Hank's backup practical song. It's the practical song. It's where it fits.
Exactly. Practical song will be here. Yeah, maybe go to the next. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, no, okay, this one. So basically, all those mechanisms, what do? We try not being in individualism, which means caring for the individual needs only. We try not to be in the collectivism, which is only the project, everything for the project. We don't care about the people. No, we care about the people. And we try to find this balance by creating cooperation. How can we care for the whole and find this balance between the individual needs and the collective needs? And the good news is we don't need all of it. We don't need it. Because the marriage contract, we don't need it to be married. And we need it when we start, oh, no, the beautiful divorce picture was hidden. We need it when we divorce. It's basically having a safety net and a parachute. Parachute? I don't know how to say that. Parachute. So that we don't fall back in the world of competition, enemy image, and all those things that makes so much harm when we split, when we go into separation. So even if we go into separation, because it happens, how can we stay in togetherness? Look, we were agreeing on those beautiful values, and now we just need to find a way with this to navigate togetherness, still in separating from each other, because it's not working. So let's jump into the financial principles. So, very simple. Everyone provides what they can. Anyone that has this beautiful energy to contribute to an eco-village is welcome to come in with anything that they have. Everyone gets what they need. Even if I come with 1 million euro, if I'm a single person and I will have a small space, I don't need a 300 square meters house if I'm alone. So you get what you need. If you are an elder person, maybe we will have a ground floor apartment for you. If you are a family, you need more rooms because you are more people. So it's really decorrelating what you bring and what you get. There is a but. We need it to be collectively financeable. If it's not financeable, it's not sustainable. It cannot work. So we need that the project is collectively financed. So how do we do this? Before I explain more, going back to this idea of associate current account, that is a bit probably new for you. So instead of bringing the initial contribution as a share, as like, I have a lot of money, I have a lot of shares. No, everyone has one share. That can be 1,000 euro, for example. So everyone that enters has one share. So everyone is equal. And then the rest of the money, if I come with 10,000 euros, then the 9,000 euros will go in this associate current account, which is something that we took from the world of the companies. When you build a company, a shareholding company, you have the right to open an associate current account where you bring money in to actually support the operational functioning of the structure. It's like a little short-term, or not short-term, loan that you make to your own company, to your own business. Because we are all members of the cooperatives, we can put our contributions in the associate current account instead of being in the shares. I know I feel there are questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There will be a space for
there
questions.
will be a space for that. So
I
yeah.
just want to add that it's working with shares. We can do the same thing with
Yes.
shares because we can deactivate the power on shares and everything. It's just more flexible and we have more flexibility and
Yes.
practice.
We
It's
know
more
that
practical.
in
But we
some
have projects where it's with shares also. It's working.
yeah, in some countries it might be a little bit different, but we can adjust the model with this. But when it's possible, we really recommend to use the associate current account for this flexibility. Because when I put more money in the shares, I have more legal constraints for the in and out. Also, it's more administrative work. This is more flexible. Yeah. Go.
I just want to add that associate current account is available in every country. It's part of the nature of shareholding company. So if you have a capitalistic, you're in some kind of the global world, you have this. It's just that you can have in some countries some tax incentives to put in capital, or you can have already project existing with money in capital. So it's possible to do it this way also.
Thank you. And the contributions and withdrawals just need to be registered in the accounting, which is much less heavy than the administrative work when you work with shares. Okay. So, jumping into contributors. To finance projects, yeah. Yes, yes. Thank you for... Yeah, it's a lot of content, huh? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, what is it? And
With those two requests, it means that you are working, huh? It's working a lot.
and feel free to open the windows and
Yes. Yes.
I have a strategy I want to offer. If you want to open the windows or close them because you're cold or hot, just do it, but then the next one has to wait 10 minutes before doing something else. This way we'll be regulating the temperature in the room.
Yes.
Can we have the question afterwards? We go all through the... Yeah.
Yes.
There will be a
Please
space
keep
for
it.
question, so we go through the presentation and then we navigate that.
So there is also one thing about the Le Passage model. It's contributors. This is really the beauty also of this model, is we really empower groups to find contributors. Who are those guys? Because they exist. So it's people, normal people, that just have a little bit of money extra in their bank account. Could be in a separate bank account where they keep a little bit money aside, or more or less money aside. And somehow they feel that, wow, it's painful to know that my money is there, sleeping, and actually not really sleeping. I have a banker that actually used this money to continue to finance something I don't believe in. Could be weapon industry, could be in oil and gas industry, and somehow I don't really feel aligned with it. But what else can I do? Because I need this money to be available. If something happens to me or to my family or to my close ones, I need to be able to have some money aside. So the invitation, so usually they are looking already for solutions to bring the money to more meaningful spaces. So what we invite is those people that we meet just by talking about what we do, because it's so amazing, because it's not about personal interest, but it's a collective project. We invite them to transfer this money, part of it, within a cooperative, a housing cooperative. So what happens is that they would have a contract, they will become associate of the cooperative, but they won't live in the project. So they are a second category of members, not the main ones with the main decision power, but still they are members. They will buy one share, they will have one share, and the rest of the money will go in their current account because they are a member, so they can make this loan for the operational needs of the company, of the cooperative. Then the group invests most part of this money, but not everything. Part of it is kept in a reserve fund, and we're going to explain this. And the rest of the money is invested in the earth, in the land, in the buildings, in the activities of the eco-village. If one day this person wants to get back this money, in the contract, it's written that, for example, I'm just taking an example of Colmeia, the way we framed it, because it can be different for every collective. If the person wants up to 10,000 euros, we make it available within a month. How do we have this money? Because we didn't use everything. Every contributors, we keep a little bit in a reserve fund so we can manage the withdrawals. Okay? So we keep a little portion because we, like a bank, because we are not using everything. We are keeping a little bit so that we can manage people that needs to withdraw. And if it's more than 10,000 euros, then in the contract, we are limited to 60,000. This is our choice, can be different for another eco-village. It's 60,000 per year that we give back to the person. Okay? No interest rate, but possibility to index on inflation, especially in today's reality. So it's not a donation, it's just ethical savings. And more people are actually really interested to go in that direction. They just don't have options, and we are providing an option. Yeah, you can move to the next. So again, an example of our project, Colmeia, 20 households and 3.8 million euros of budget. How do we divide the financing? 3.8 million euros means that for around 19, 20 families or households, it's 200,000 euros per household, and the project is financed. I mean, in our region, we are in a hotspot in Portugal. It's really cheap to have a full space for 200,000. It's really affordable. And then 30% of this amount, we need to bring it from the occupants, the inhabitants. The average is 60,000 per households, but again, it's not everyone needs to bring this. It's actually an average that we collectively share. That means someone will come with 20, the other one with 100, the other one with 30, 95. And actually today in our project, we have 2 people that came with almost just the share, but not more to put in the associate current account. It's feasible. So I think this is really how we create social projects. Because really, people with 0, people with a lot, and we manage to live together and having both the same, both a voice in a project. And then those contributors, those amazing people in Colmeia, we already have 6 of them for around 260,000 euros. So yeah, big gratitude to them for believing in what we are doing. And yeah. Yes?
Yeah, and they are thankful to us.
Yes,
no,
that's
but
true. No, that's true. That's true. Thank you for bringing
they
this.
are thankful to us to provide them with a possibility to have their money in something they believe and they trust. But because it's easy to find something you believe in, but do you trust to put your money in it?
Yeah, I didn't talk about the little thing that was before, but it's super important. They don't have an interest rate, but actually what do they have? What do they get? They have a connection with the community. Maybe it's not the time in their life to live in a community. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe they have children and they are in a split couple, so they cannot move to Portugal to live with us. But they are really inspired by what we do and they want a connection. So every year they would be called for the General Assembly to celebrate together what we are doing. And if we are in a conflict situation, we can call them. They know us, and they can support us in some phases that are critical. So this is the interest rate, like just the connection, humanity that is behind those projects. And actually, some of them come to our events, and they have a special role in those moments to be with us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's belonging.
Mm.
They belong to the community at the same level as the others.
Mm.
They are part of it. Some make it happen with time. Some make it possible because they put their money in it, but we are all part of the same community, the human realm.
Thank you. And then, thanks to these 30% and 20%, we have leverage to go to a bank and say, hey, we are a real estate company. And we would need some money to invest and build a 20 households project. And we are credible. Actually, we don't need to say that we are an eco-village and we dream. We don't need it. We can just show ourselves as real estate investors, and then whenever they ask for the documentation, we bring you are a cooperative? Yeah, it's for tax reasons. And, so it's just how we present ourselves and how do we do this systemic aikido, basically.
Yeah. I want to, that's what we do. But why do we do it? We do it to care for the person in front of us. When you go to a bank, if you say, we are an eco-village, we are a community, they will look at you like this. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you can fill the file here. But they have fears. They are full of fears. They don't trust you. They think you're a bunch of hippies that will waste the money.
The thing is, we are.
Not anymore. Not after this. And so, and in some way we are. But what we want is to enter his imagination. So there is
their imagination.
Their imagination. There is a lot of money to put in housing projects. So if we tell them we are housing projects, they will put money in it because it's the easiest thing for a bank to finance. They have the guarantee of the land, so it's way easier to finance your project than to finance Uber or a startup in an apps where it's a big risk and banks don't finance that.
And then there are also possibilities to get some grants and donations, of course. So in our case, we foresee around 10%. Next. Okay, but can you reduce this one? Okay. So, but then what happens when we leave there? Well, how does it work, the money? I will go a little bit in more details, but we have some monthly fees. We cannot arrive and just live there forever. And we need to deal with the financial needs of the place. So we have this initial contribution with the share, the rest in associate current account, this which is recoverable. And there is also some monthly fees. So the monthly fees is a social rent. I will explain just after how it works, why the social rent is actually very low. And the mutualized charges, energy, water, what we spend already when we live anywhere, okay? And we have this very specific thing, which are the monthly savings. We invite inhabitants to actually save money monthly, adding a little bit of money in their current account for different reasons that I will explain. And the initial contributions and the monthly savings together is money that is recoverable when people leave the project. The monthly fees of the social rent and mutualized charges are the not recoverable part of the monthly fee. Thank you. I think you can continue without, yeah. 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 Okay. So now we enter a little bit of details. So the occupation, please, we start by the bottom part. occupation rent. Why is it so low? When you invest in the mainstream world in an apartment or a house, usually we depreciate it on 20, 25 years, for example, and this defines how many we want from the tenant to pay us, to pay the bank back, and then being able to finance in 20, 20 years, 20, 25 years, the investment, the initial investment. Okay? Yes.
Yes.
Already?
I just want to say that you don't need to absorb everything right now. I know it can be a bit technical.
Yes.
Note that there will be space for questions. We will have a weekly Zoom available every week, so you can ask questions. So I want everyone to relax.
Yes. Okay.
The presentation, we will send the slides if you leave the email. They are making a video. We'll try to make it available for you for replay. So
Yes.
relax. It's normal if you don't get everything at the first time.
I think it's the school trauma kind of coming back like, no. Okay. So I just want you to understand the concept, just to feel how you relate to it, but not so much like being attached to understanding fully. So we apply a depreciation of 100 years. Depreciation is the way we are slowly. I want you to explain that one.
The depreciation is when you invest in something, when you buy a car, when you buy a house, you assume that it's losing value over time. So at one point it gets to zero. So that's why you don't get all the price of your what
Asset.
you bought on the first year. It comes as an expense every year according to the life duration. So if you have a yurt, for example, maybe you need to change the outside
The cover.
the cover every 20 years. I don't know, depends on which kind of yurt it is. So the depreciation of your yurt after 20 years it has to be over 20 years, not 100 years. But it's 5 times cheaper than a normal house, and a normal house will be depreciated between 50 100 years. So in the end, the yearly cost to your project of a yurt is the same of a well-built house that will long 100 years.
It's the time before we consider you will have to do major works and reinvestment to keep it in good shape and being able to live in it. Okay. So, and this is important that we do it 100 years because it allows us to have very low rents. Instead of condensed in 20, 25 years, we extend it in 100 years.
Yeah. Maybe I will. We are used to, in our world, everywhere I went for the moment, we find 20 years depreciation on buildings. Why companies do that? They do that because then they can say, oh, look, this year my investment lose a lot of money. My house that I bought is 1/20 less worth. And then they can say, oh, I make no profits, so I don't pay taxes. But it's not according to reality. A house, if you maintain it well, especially if it's in wood, stone, natural things, more than cement. Cement is 30, 40, 50 years max, maybe, if you have good maintenance. But if it's a natural house and you maintain it, it can last more than 100 years. And we are not looking for profit. So we don't care. We are looking for low rents, low charges for you. So that's why we can depreciate according to reality.
So this is the occupation rent part. And then the rental charges, basically paying the bills, I explained before, and this monthly savings I was explaining. So in the end, the occupation rent is 4 to 5 times lower than the market price when it's 20 to 25 years. So we are much lower than this. The mutualization of the cost as being a community, but also usually we use techniques that are less consuming in terms of energy, in terms of water. We are more careful with a lot of ecological approach to this, so usually it's also low bills. And the monthly saving is how slowly can I contribute more to the community, depending also on how much I came with, and how it can support reimbursing the bank and the contributors that want to get back their money, to transfer the debt from a little bit from the inhabitants, a lot from the bank and the contributors, and slowly, by having these monthly savings, the debt is to the occupants, and the debt from the contributors and the banks reduces. Okay? And this is the master framework. So now get ready. We can breathe. I'm not in a school. I'm just nurturing my dream with this presentation. So, you have an associate. This is the accounting of the cooperative. There is an associate. And this is their current account, associate current account. And other associate current accounts that are also part of the cooperative accounting. Next. I come with an initial contribution. I have 10,000, I have 100,000. Okay. Then next, I pay monthly my small occupation rent because it's depreciated over 100 years. I pay my rental charges that are very low. And I'm doing my additional monthly savings that goes to my current account, additionally to my initial contribution. Next. Yeah. This additional monthly savings, is used to reimburse the bank and the contributors. And also, the beauty is that we can also balance the current accounts in between the inhabitants. For example, Michelle entered the project with a whole house. She's 70 years old. She decided to enter the project. She had a beautiful house of 500,000 that she decided to sell to enter the community. So her current account is much higher than the 200,000 euros that was needed per household. But at the same time, she has a very low income monthly. So she would love to put all her money in, but also she doesn't know how she could get more income because she has a small retreat? How do you say? Pension. Retraite is it French. A small pension. So maybe what she can do is put all her money, not all maybe, but the money of the selling of her house in the current bank account. And maybe there is Peter that came with very small initial contribution, but he's doing monthly savings every month. And maybe part of his monthly savings can actually allow her to get back monthly, instead of giving more monthly, instead of doing additional savings, she's receiving money back slowly. So his account is growing, her account is reducing without donation. It's the system that slowly balances everyone, so that slowly we can have more harmony in between the different contributions. Is it clear? Okay. Next, Vincent. Also, these additional monthly savings, they can serve to make provisions, because we have to repair the roof, we have to do other constructions. So it's also a way to have money aside to plan the unplanned. Next, Vincent. Vincent.
Sorry.
And the beauty also is that if someone needs to get money, like I need to replace the car, I mean, car can be also shared. So, but my kids are going to university, I need to support them financially. So then also people can get back some of their money from the additional monthly savings and the initial contributions when they need. If you know that it's available, you want to put more, because we are building trust. And we have this reserve fund for these situations. And then the beauty also is that the whole system is actually sustainable financially without any activity that has to be done within the community. It's just the way we transfer the existing world of I'm paying a rent either to my tenant, no, not tenant, landlord, or to the bank, to I'm bringing it in the community, and this is already financially sustainable. So then we can have entrepreneurship within the cooperative. I want to be a baker. I want to create a repair bar. I want to do agriculture. Okay, amazing. We can do those activities and they will generate incomes and they become the bakery is another inhabitant and will pay a rent, an occupation rent, rental charges, and will also be another inhabitant that will feed the whole system. So it's just bringing back more money so it can reduce the financial load on everyone.
Yeah, and also these incomes, so let's say we have, because we make profit of this activity, even if it's a little bit, we don't need to pay the money for it, but we can pay salaries, so this person can have a salary directly in their current account. And we can say also, oh, we are making a lot of money with agriculture and everything, so let's not pay charges anymore. Let's not pay rent. Even the inhabitants that are not involved in the activity can all lower the needs to pay the expenses of the cooperative because there is an activity, but it's extra. It's not needed.
Yeah.
I'm feeling I'm being too technical. I feel you're not with me anymore. It's okay.
I just want to sense, just for 1 second, like how much you feel that you understand. Maybe not in the details, but like just like this.
Maybe
whoa, like yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Wow.
I'm a mirror. 100, I'm in a mirror. 50, 0%. Okay. Nice.
Wow. I'm so glad. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, as I was saying, oh, maybe this one. Yes. So as I was saying, this is the magic. Because we depreciate on over 100 years, and slowly we are doing this reimbursement to the banks and to the contributors, and slowly also to the inhabitants, in 100 years, the cooperative will start to own itself. And then in 100 years, you can just come, oh, wow, you have so much to bring to the community as a person for who you are and not what you have, and people can welcome you, and we can recreate common goods where people can just live without needing money to come in. Yes. We are almost at the end of the general presentation. So in the end, what we are doing with the Le Passage mechanisms that we just described, we are nurturing this vision and purpose that a group, a collective have by putting in stone in the legal, the financial system, like the values, so they can really have a grounding. And we didn't go so much into governance and human ecosystem because we didn't want to go, and it's more things that we can find in other ecovillages. I think the very specificities are in the legal and financial, but really based on the values of the collective. So once we have a beautiful structure like this, what we can do is even more amazing. Is actually we can create a financing cooperation, a cooperative. So that means, you remember those guys from the community, maybe Colmeia, our community, we have a reserve fund. We know that we have all those values that are really in the legal, in the structure, so there's no escape, it's there. And as soon as we can recognize that we have something these things in common with others, we can increase the level of shared risk with other communities. Which means the reserve fund I was talking about, we don't use 100% of the money. Every time someone brings money in, we keep a little bit of funds aside to have a reserve. We can take part of this money and bring it to another entity, which is a financial cooperative. And this one can with all these reserve funds can actually finance new projects that also will be based on the same values. So we can start to have more power, more systemic aikido, to use the money to support new projects that appear in the world. And another beauty is that to incentive, like, why do we do this? I trust my community, but I don't really trust those guys. I don't know, like, are they really doing well? So basically, we incentive the communities to do it by doing what? We, in the contract of the reserve fund that they will transfer here, for example, if they bring 5,000 euros during 5 years, they block it during 5 years, they don't. Then when they get it back, like, okay, we want it back because we need it, you can actually access a loan of double the amount and double the time. So this is how we incentive the whole system to say, if you don't need the money, trust that there it can be used, and when you need it, you can even have more for more time. And we create a system that is parallel to this system where it's only money creates money, but it's more here like based on trust and shared values that are in the core elements of the projects, and we can grow together from here. There will be a workshop about this specific part tomorrow with Vincent, with Johannes from Gen Switzerland. Yeah. and
Show yourself,
Vincent, yeah.
Johannes, where are you? Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the Gen Fund that is using part of this. And I just want to say that we are already creating this cooperative. It's happening
Yes.
now. We have already...
The status, the bylaws were created in July of this new structure.
And this summer it's existing, and we have more than 50 projects in France. If they are like all kind of projects, all with these values, all housing, all eco-village, common goods, etc. If they put 20,000 each, we already have 1 million euro that we can use together. And we are, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Next. Yeah, I wanted to finish with this beautiful quote from Paulo Coelho, who's a Portuguese writer, very famous. I don't know if you know him. Oh, Brazil. Oh my God, I said Portuguese?
Wow.
I'm sorry. I live in Portugal. I was a bit brainwashed. So, so Brazilian, of course. So when you want something, the whole universe conspires to allow you to realize your dream. And I really believe that Les Passages, we are part of this conspiration. Yeah, this is the last slide, just to tell you that we know this is raising a lot of questions. I was also hating this legal financial stuff, and I fell in love with this model and all the possibilities. So we are organizing welcome sessions for Q&A, basically every Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. on this Zoom link. You can just find us. People from the team will be there answering any question you have. It can be like, oh yeah, I didn't understand that part, or I was at the workshop and da-da-da. I'm wondering it's really for us, my specific case, da-da-da-da-da. So everything you can just bring to this space, and it's 1 hour where we are just available every week, connected. So, and the QR code, yeah, bigger.
Yeah, can you tell about the QR code?
Yeah, the QR code is just if you can give us your address, email address, if you want to receive this presentation, the replay, and maybe subscribe to our newsletter that we are writing on a regular basis. Yeah, perfect. Maybe in another slide, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I move out of the way. Thank you for requesting. And yeah, if it doesn't work for any reason, we also have a degraded mode, which is a computer there, someone helping you to just write down your email address.
Or you go here, and here there's just a landing page.
Yeah.
At the end of the page, you have the same thing, where you can put your first name, last name, email, and fill this.
Thank you. Just want to show Noga and Gregory. They are also joining the team and also becoming more and more present in the trainings, the coaching of the groups that are happening. We didn't go into details to what we offer because we really wanted this presentation to be inspirational for you guys, like to see what we can do with the systemic Aikido. And if you want to know more, we know that you're going to find us. So yeah. And
Yeah, just Andre wants to say something. I don't know what he wants to say, but
Hello, guys. First, so sorry I was passing through.
I want to introduce you. I want to say that Andre is the reason why Les Passages is a
Yes.
partner of the Gen today.
yes.
And he's member of Argumbat, with an eco-village in France with the Les Passages model. An amazing place with a lot of nature. And
Yeah, and that's the thing. First, so sorry I was passing through because I'm filming and that's it. I'm kind of want to share just that I have two families and I'm meeting them together now. It's like the Passage 1 and Jen. And that for me it's quite important because I live in an eco-village. I just want to give a kind of a testimony of it, that I traveled 5 years in a camper van, and in the end of those 5 years I was extremely rich in one sense and not that much in the other one, but still in an abundance way that I was lacking anything, and I was willing to live in an eco-village. And there was a moment that we wanted to live in one, and I understand that it was private land inside of the eco-village, and it was really nice. People was loving it, but I could not trust living in a place where the land was owned by the founder. I thought that that wasn't for me. It wasn't aligned for me. People sometimes like it. It's okay. It's not for me. And at that moment, I knew about this thing going on in France, and the universe really conspired because I was searching around Toulouse, a place to live in, and I really knew this thing, and I was already spreading the word like, this is really nice. And I come from open day in Eco Village, and I arrived there, and Mika, the guy who created the model, he was there. And actually he was living in that Eco Village. And actually they were in the beginning of the Eco Village, and actually they wanted people. And I could manage to live in a €2 million project that is gorgeous with low income that I had at the time because of the model. And I would just want to share the testimony that that's not just blah blah. When it comes to matter, it matters. And for me, it's really having, like in my community now, we are 15, and we have all different kind of people because of a solid model can bring trust. And sometimes I have the feeling that in society, they don't want us to understand this kind of thing. Because if we do, well, we can do it differently, right? Yeah, like knowledge can bring freedom in my point of view. And now I do understand that, and I do feel free to do something different. And I'm really happy to meet both of you. I'm really happy to see the room filled of people. And I also understand the model. If you want to talk with me, I'm really enthusiastic. But please know how to say to me, stop, because I will keep talking.
Thank you, André. Thank you for doing your magic.
I will talk for you now, Andre. If you stop talking, I will start talking, and you will have to take my mic then. No, but I joined Le Passage a little bit less than 1 year ago, and I really realized that the model here is a healthy foundation that helps us to create diversity. A lot of people are talking about it. We want to do it, but this is really the basis that can create the fact that people with money, people without money, people with dreams, with other dreams, they can join each other with something that works.
Thank you, Greg.
Hello. Very nice demonstration. There is a lot of financial question, but I am not interested to ask to brain questions at this moment.
if it's
But
what we need,
I want to ask for the juridic, the lawyer question. You don't speak about that. My question is how to escape the risk that the project would be, after years and years, privatized. In Belgium, with my organization, we travel about community land trust, and this kind of solution could be a nice solution. I just want to know if you have approached this kind of solution to escape the risk of, by example, by collective land, to keep collective land.
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's really...
I just want to check, like, who also feels this concern, like feels connected to this? Okay.
So I will be brief. It's an important question because it's regarding the ownership, and it's the main part, and how the ownership will evolve with time. Land trust for me and 100 years lease is already an answer to that. Depends on the lease contract. It's not enough because when you have a land trust, you don't own anything. You're not owning anymore, and you lose power. Because the fact that you are owning gives you more power as a structure. The cooperative owning the land gives you power, for example, to get a bank loan, gives you power to give trust to people who put their money in your project, that you can reimburse them. And what I like is more the system. What we implement is a system like Mithausen syndicates, where there are locks, and we are creating common goods that are interlocking each other's. Everything, there are locks everywhere. Locks that, Yes. How we interlock our projects so that even if someday there is a big bankruptcy of one project, at least all the profit that was made goes in another project. So we might lose one space, but it will reinforce the others.
Thank you very much for your presentation first. Our eco-village is quite similar in its structure, but there's some inner structural conflicts sometimes that can be challenging. So I wonder if within your model they are dealt with. One of which being that we need to pay rent, social rent, quite small, but still that needs people to come to find revenue somewhere else than committing to the place, to the communal garden, to etc., to all the things that are needed to run the eco-village. So how do you manage to maybe employ people so that they can commit fully to the project without having to find a revenue somewhere else, so that they can pay their charges and social rent, however low it is? And another little conflict is without private property. Sometimes, especially if people can get out of the project quite easily, they are less care. They take less care of the assets, of the tools, of the house, and so with this 100-year depreciation, it can be quite conflicting. So I don't know if you have garde-fou, as we say in French, for that.
Good question.
Which one do I answer first? Because there are 3 or 4 questions in your questions. So, regarding the conflict, we have to see about your specific situation. One thing that comes to me is you have the needs of the project and you have the needs of the individuals. So maybe you had it's part of the project to have agriculture. Okay, so it's a need of the project to have someone taking the care of the land. And you have the choice with this structure. A cooperative is a mix. You take the best of the non-profit world and the best of the cooperative world. It was created for that. The essence of cooperativism is how do we make something that can really be entrepreneurship, but we don't want money to make money. And we want power dynamics, the people who are doing who have power, not some shareholders. And if the project has a need, it can be someone within the project doing it, and it can get an income or not from it. Or it can be, we take someone from the inside, as is an employee or is a freelance, and he's doing it. So we can find the balance like this. and you are free. And what's important in what you say also, we often say your project has to be the opposite of a sect. A sect, it's easy to come in, it's difficult to go out. It has to be difficult to come in. And your first criteria when you take someone in, it has to take a long time. You don't know. If I say I want to come into your project, you don't know me. Even if I have an amazing CV, even if I have a shitload of money, you don't know me. And maybe I come into your project, it's amazing. Maybe we have amazing human dynamics, and I go to another, and I don't fit in the group dynamics because I'm waking up the trauma of that person, or I don't know what. So the only way you can know about someone fitting your project is doing things with that person. As much you can do, you can work together, spend time together, live together, and you take a lot of time. Then you wait because you have been immersed in the relationship. You take a moment out, and you collectively decide the first criteria is when we are with that person, is it bringing togetherness to the group or is it bringing separation? This is the first criteria. Once you have this, then you can start to have a look, okay, what financially do we have the collective objective and these kind of things. And then why it's important that the people go out easily, because I know that the reflex is, I want to make a project, I need to find the money. So, okay, how can I make sure that I get the money and it stays, the project is safe? But actually, if I'm telling you, put your money, but it stays for 100 years, you don't want to put your money. It's the same, in fact, the relationship dynamics are really similar to the finance dynamics. If I'm in a relationship, I say, you want to live, you want to be in a love relationship with me, but you have to stay 100 years. Be sure.
I have to, or I want to.
There is a, whoa, I don't know. But if you say, put money that you don't need, put it in the project. If you need it, you are free to go. And we have so much projects. I don't talk about eco-village, but even agriculture project, where people, they stay in the project not because they want, because they are trapped. If they go out, they cannot recover their money. And then it's become a pain in the relationships. And then you call for mediation. And you want to build an eco-village, you will need mediation. You will need you will need to work on your traumas. You will know it. All of this you will need. But make it easier. Don't make mediation between an owner and an employee. There is so much power differences. It's already enough if they have the same power dynamics. You will have mediation to do anyway. If he wants to go, he can take his money. This way is free. So they're free.
Can be a woman.
Yeah.
Or
Sorry, struggling with the English. And this is, yeah. It does it. I don't know because I went this way, but I'm not sure it's answering everything. Is it enough for now? Yeah. Okay.
There is maybe one thing that was not answered, and you said how to responsibilize people about the goods. I don't know if Vincent answered it. How to put some responsibilize people, and there.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think one of the answers there, and Vincent will tell me if he has another view on that, but the model itself and the way we are putting rules together are pushing people to be responsible, because it's very Cartesian, it's very kind of, and that's why it's so heavy when we talk about it for 45 minutes, but it's really helping people to take the responsibility.
Yeah.
So the structure and the foundation helps this taking responsibility. You still have to do some human things related to that, but the two are in balance with each other to help this, basically.
And we also have a mechanism that I think you're gonna explain.
No,
No?
I was,
Okay.
but you can explain maybe
Yeah.
after.
So you remember when I explained that the rent is low because it's based on cooperation. So basically, in the contract, it states that you need to cooperate to actually benefit from this right of use of a space with this level of rent that is low. So basically, if someone stops to cooperate, we can say collectively, this person is not cooperating, like at all. Probably a lot of human process will happen before, but if really end up being in a complicated situation, then one leverage would say, this person is not cooperating, so then we raise the rent to the market price. Because the right of use is based on cooperating. So if someone says, no, I'm just there, but I don't want to be part of the community in any way, we can also activate this We don't want to go there, but we have this safety net, divorce contract. Okay?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Thank you for remembering. Yeah.
Remembering?
Because the only reason the people stay in the project when it's going, when imagine I'm in conflict with everyone, but I stay, it can be because I have a lower rent, and if I go elsewhere, I will not have my cheap. So if we remove that, usually people they go out before we remove that, because it's the only remaining reason they're staying. And I also want to say that people are not irresponsible in my perspective. They just have needs, and they don't find a way to get their needs met. And sometimes the project hasn't got the capacity to meet the needs of that person. So I believe that if we make a trust field, we increase the capacity of the field to take care of everyone's needs.
Yeah, maybe a tricky one. How
We love
can
tricky
you
questions.
how can you provide enough trust to be sure it's not like a Ponzi scheme in which I put my money and then it will never go out, especially when we have crisis. For example, everybody lost her job, everybody needs the money back. It's a problematic.
Yeah. Actually, trust is faith. Why do you put your money in the bank? You trust the bank. What? And the state. Why do you trust the state? Why do you trust the state? What? Yeah, but it happens. I have
In some country,
Yeah.
in some countries, it happens that the state doesn't manage to save a band. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, in Venezuela, in Lebanon recently, in the States, Lehman Brothers, the money disappeared. In Brazil, the money disappeared. And we are in a stage where there will be more and more crises. And even if the state says, like in France, your bank account, 100,000 is the guarantee of the state. If it's collapsed, it's collapsed. And when this happens, what will stay is the land and the housing and the people. And when you go to Ecovillage and you ask them, do you trust your banker or do you trust your neighbor? We have to switch from trusting our bankers to trust our neighbors, because this is all what we will have left. And I take this from him. From La Cave. And yeah, but it's what we do. It's what we do. How do we switch the trust from the bank? That is, and actually the really rich people, they don't trust the bank. The people who have shitload of money, what do? They buy huge amount of lands. Huge lands. And why? Because this is their life insurance. They know that if the system collapses, they have the lands. So I believe I have more trust in putting my money in a real estate ethical project than in the bank.
Yeah.
So to make the question again, what is the system created? What are the laws that will allow me to trust enough that the money will be there when I need it back?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
There is one thing that I explained about the reserve fund. So the reserve fund can support if you want to say something else?
Yeah, I want to say something because I want to go another something that was not said.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
Le fric.
Yeah. The thing is, you need guarantees, and people come to us. It's amazing your project. I put my money. Okay, you have a reserve fund. I see that you have money available. But what happens if tomorrow there's not? Because we coach you to put in place a reserve fund. We coach you to put in place a system that enables to renew this reserve fund. But you can say that, okay, now we got the money from all these contributors, and let's use the reserve fund money. And we don't care. Let's stop the monthly savings. And you want your money? Yeah, come in 100 years, guys. But there is a guarantee. The guarantee, if you ask for your money, and we committed in reimbursing 60,000 per year, and we don't do it, we have to auction sell the whole project. And we don't, this is a nuclear button not to be used.
Yeah.
Because it's here.
But we give it.
Because we give it to you, as someone who's putting money, it makes us always accountable to keep our initial purpose.
Yeah. Yes. And my question is kind of related, but it was You also, if I heard you right, you have that there is a maximum that people can take out per year. So it's not like if I put a lot of money in, I can get them all out at once. I can get them out some per year.
Yeah,
So there is a maximum I can get out per
Yeah.
year.
yeah,
And that can, of course, be defined differently in different projects. But that's also kind of a guarantee that it's not just some people who can get their money and the rest don't get any.
yeah. Thank you for, yeah. It's not a question. Okay. And I just want to bounce on that. Yeah. Yeah.
The question was if there was a maximum.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the project. For example, us, a 4 million project, it's 60,000 per year. And there is one project of even two of that we coach in France where the founders had a lot of money and they went out after a few years and they recovered their money annually. So, and this is not a thing that we often see. And this is what it enables, because if you are a founder already with the status and you have a lot of money and there is the decision that we take, if we take it, this person is going out, then you don't take that decision because you lose all the money, you lose your project. So the fact that it's annual reimbursement makes it possible for it to happen. Yeah.
We can adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Hi. I
After it's coming there.
I wanted to ask you, because also to be aware about the time, but I have 3 questions. So can we maybe make it like this, that you try to answer like in 15 seconds, like bam, and let's see how it works?
Yeah, go.
Cool.
Shoot.
Go for the first one.
Good. How do you financial yourself?
Les Passages.
Yeah.
We are a non-profit association. So we make the trainings paid. So it's paid trainings. And this is how we pay ourselves, the people who are coaching. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. What is the biggest community which is using right now your framework?
The biggest, I think, à mon début in France, it's an old community. Who
Part of the Gen? Yeah,
part of the Gen, really old members. Some people were in the council of the Gen. It's one of the biggest community in France. And one of the oldest. And actually, they had a big conflict with the founder. And we were the one that transformed the legal system with them so the founder could go out.
Can you repeat the name once more?
À mon début. Oui. À mon début, yeah. We have. There is also the initial project that was founded is Ecoravi. It's also 40 people project that is quite big and 10 years old. There is always a big project is Argumbat, and we have smaller projects. Oh, we have yeah. Colmea is not. We are not living there yet.
Ah, voilà, j'avais un doute.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So the
Right.
last question would be, who actually pays for new buildings for new members when they come, and also for the renovation for existing buildings? So this then when the people give everything when they come, so I guess this will pay the community, then the construction costs for new buildings.
I didn't get the question, sorry.
Who is paying for new construction?
So I
For new home.
explained, yeah. You mean if it's already built and we want to extend, or the initial building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, it's not. Some places it's like this. It's like happened like this. To make it broader, you have. Let's say you have an investment in the land in the construction that is for 10 people. So then you divide everything by 10. This is the average cost of inhabitants, and all the money that you don't get from contributors and the bank, what's left for us 60,000. This is what we have to collectively find as average. People with 0, people with more, people with 30, etc. Let's say now I want to have 5 more people or 10 more people. It will increase the overall investment, but maybe not twice as much because we already have the land, we already have commons. So maybe it will increase a bit this. Maybe we'll have also some new contributors, and then what's left, all the inhabitants can contribute. And you will see that the more there is trust, the more you spend time together, the more there is trust. And at the beginning of the project, people are like, okay, I will put that money, but I keep that little apartment I have from my mother to have some passive incomes and everything. And then when, we need that person to come, but she has less money and everything, it's okay, I will sell my apartment and put the money. So even from the existing habitants, after time, you can find extra money, even from the contributors, because they already put money, they think it's going well, they have more money that they piled up in their account, so they're happy to contribute even more. So it's not only on them, only on the future inhabitants. And also, it can be a bunch of future habitants together that we get 5 houses, and that together they can have different contribution.
Well, first of all, thank you. It's really great. And sign me up, right?
Yes, Finland.
Yeah.
Woo!
So the question is so I'm understanding this, that if you do take a loan, which is, I guess, sort of optional, right? If you need the money, then you are exposed towards the financial crashes, just like in any other. No. Okay.
No, it's the
Okay,
opposite.
cool.
If there is a financial crisis, you want to have a debt, because then you lose your debt.
As long as you can pay the
You just
loan.
don't want to have savings in the bank.
As
No.
long as you can pay
If-
the loan
if the bank-
until it really goes sideways.
If the bank is collapsing, it's better to have debt than to have savings in the bank.
As long as
And
you
it's
can
happening.
pay
It's
the
what
loan.
happened in Venezuela and everywhere. The people have no more, they lose their money, but they have no more debt also from these banks. Because it happened in Lebanon. I have a friend who had 300,000 euros in the bank in Lebanon. He had 1 week where he hesitated. He could have withdrawn half of the value, lose half of the value. And the time he said, okay, it was too late. He lost everything. So it happens fast when it happens.
That's bank reality. Yeah.
And it's better at this moment to have a loan.
Yes.
Here.
Yes, I have a question here. You are referring to a cooperative all the time, and my question is, does the model work within one cooperative, or do you need a more complex legal structure and maybe nested cooperatives or something like that?
Do we need one cooperative for all the eco-village?
No, for one eco-village.
Each one has its cooperative, yeah.
Yes, but
Can it be other forms, legal forms?
Yes, can it be other legal forms, or do you need other legals? Is one cooperative sufficient for the model to work?
Cooperative has a lot of advantages, but it's not the only way. But no, so the it's different. I would not say it's completely different, because it's a movement that comes from the same roots and share the same value, and it's really organized movement and worldwide movements. So it adds a lot of core things that you can find everywhere, and we are based really on these core things. In Portugal and in France, the cooperative system is really different. In France, it's a blank page. You can make a really shitty company making shitload of money with a cooperative structure. And this has advantages and inconvenience. In Portugal, it has to be really democratic, and you have everything, so you cannot turn it from its initial thing, but still it has also inconvenience, because to implement sociocracy, it's harder when there is already a lot of democracy implemented. But it's easier, and it makes it so we can navigate this, because we go back with the lawyers to our needs. Our need is the collective ownership, everything. And the cooperative everywhere has the one person, one voice.
Okay.
I would just add to this that we are testing it with new countries for the last months, Slovenia, Sweden, Portugal we have already, and Spain. And for now, no cooperative system resisted the model. So it could happen, we never know. But until now, we know that it's really possible through the philosophy of cooperativism, allows the model to be able to be twisted a little bit to make it work.
Yeah, but it's just to finish on it. Miethausen Syndikat is not a cooperative in Germany, and it's aligned with the. So we can find with the lawyers solutions to make it happen.
So the answer is that it depends very much on the country.
I don't like the very much. It depends, of course, on the country, and we are working in every new country with the lawyers. That's why when there is a new country, we make the group pay less, because we know they have to pay lawyers also. But at the same time, we are using mechanisms that are, it's not like we are using this special structure of France that you don't find in another country. It's cooperativism, it's worldwide, and it's shareholding company. These are the main base, and so it's, you find it everywhere in different tastes and colors.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was here, and you. Yeah.
Hello, I had a question. First of all, thank you very much for bringing the topic of finance in that easy and light form to the field. Thank you very much for that. And I have two questions, actually. You might not want to answer that, as I'm interested in how high is the social rent in your projects, just to have an idea.
The social rent is really low. It's like 70 euros per month. But we have a lot of charges.
Yes.
We have a lot of charges because we are forcing a big bank loan with a lot of interest rate. And the capital part is not reimbursed by the capital part can be with monthly savings, but the interest, because we are forcing 5%, it might be that we pay like 600 euros per month. But in the place where I live, you don't find nothing. It's like really a hotspot in Portugal. It's worse than Lisbon. And it's really, really expensive. So having this kind of rent there is really cheap. If you, we will be paying maybe 600 euros per month with a huge bank loan with high interest rate. That will disappear after 20 years. Yeah. And also it will be, it's not that it will disappear with time, but it will stay the same with time in an economy that is inflating. So it means if I'm paying 600 euros in 20 years, where all the salaries will have doubled, it will be nothing. So yes, of course, you are initiating a project. You need to take it out of the ground. You need financial energy. So yes, at the beginning, you cannot have only people without money. This is not possible. But what we are making sure is that every day, every year, every decade, we lower the pressure on the financial aspect. So it means if you could do it at the beginning, the longer you stay, the easier it gets.
Thank you very much. And second one was, how large is the network of communities that are incorporating this method? And yeah, just to get an idea how large it is.
Thank you for asking this. So we supported, we are 46 groups now that we supported with this model, and that managed to get a loan, get contributors, and managed to buy the land or acquire the buildings. So in France, it's becoming quite a big network. And we were the first ones bringing this into Portugal and testing with the legal system of Portugal. It's like, wow, it works. And now we are supporting those groups, international groups, as I was saying, in Slovenia, Spain, other groups in Portugal and Sweden, and it's working. So, yeah.
And I want to say
this is what we want to bring to the world now to
it's
test
just
it
the
in other
beginning of the
countries.
journey.
Yeah.
We just started the international part.
Yeah.
And in France, I like to say that because I feel it's true. People don't speak English. And this has two consequences. There are amazing things that are done in France and that don't get out. But there are also things in France who are in middle age because we're not able to import it. So it's really a weird France. Even if you go to you have things you're like, wow, you developed that. That's amazing. Why you don't tell it to everyone? We don't speak English. But why are you in middle age? I don't know. They are doing these things over there, but we don't understand. So this is new.
You had a question, both of you. Yeah.
I think it's me now.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
So my question is about the risks. So let's say there is a project which is running for 10 years now, and already there are houses built, and in the worst case scenario, if it's falling apart, do I get right that the corporation can sell the infrastructure, sell the real estate, and that's backing up the contributions, so it can pay back the contributions out of the value of the infrastructure?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Yeah, death is part of life, and sometimes it's needed. Sometimes it's therapeutical. We need because the death of the project is when the collective the group of people is completely splitting.
Mm.
This is the death of the project. If it's
People
only
part.
1 or 2%, you will find solution even if they go out with money. But when it's everyone in separation, it's the end of the project. Then you don't have, because you didn't do a community land trust, this is the good moment, you're happy not to have done a community land trust, because you are owning the project. So you sell it, and you recover your money. What's important is that you get your money back, and that if there is profit, it goes to another project. Because all the work you have done, it can be 10 years, it can be 100 years, you don't want the people who are there and selling it to get the benefits. You want the other to reinforce death, compost, nutrients, it goes to another tree.
Mm.
So like after 5-10 years, there is like 1, 2, 3 million euros which is already built in, and like
it's in the
so
buildings.
It's
didn't
backing
disappear.
up the actual value of the real estate is backing up the
It's
loans.
getting value. The
Okay,
market is
cool.
you never lose your money. That's why it's important to own, because you have the financial power. You can give guarantees. When if something happens, it's like the good enough for now, safe enough to try. People are telling me, oh, we just have the money to buy the land, and then we don't know if we find the money to build. Buy the land. What happens if you don't manage to build? Sell the land.
Mm.
You get your money back.
Yeah.
But if it's a foundation, you cannot do that. You cannot put your money in the foundation. You have to make a donation. You do not recover your money. And I love foundation. Really makes it even stronger. But
You will not stop him.
we have a foundation. We have a foundation that can get donation that goes to project,
Yes.
but not owning.
I just want to add a little point. One other beauty about this actually is happening right now. We have, unfortunately, a project where the human part didn't work. People said it's not working and we all want to leave. And this is a beautiful space. They invested time and money, and it's ready for another group to come. So what they said is that we are okay to keep the structure and wait until people can enter in the project as associate, and we leave as associates. So basically you can have a transfer of property, but not on paper, but without going through a selling process.
and
So they
taxes.
will not, the new ones will not need to pay the taxes and everything by acquiring this place. So we are facilitating this process now because we have access to a network. So now new people are interested to go into this cooperative and slowly give back the money to the founders. I think this is also something that we can underline.
We have 5 minutes left,
Okay,
so,
I just
and we
want
have a lot
to-
of questions still. One,
Yeah,
2, 3,
I think they are
4.
waiting
Okay.
for a long time.
Yeah, I know. So and here's waiting for a long time too. So
Oh,
let's
really?
try to go
Okay.
quick. Anyway, on Fridays we will open
Yes.
time to answer all your questions step by step. So sorry if we cannot answer all the questions today.